Mike, do you want to take it now with Web 2.0?
Yes, I'd be happy to. I don't know if everyone has heard or not, but after many years of struggling, we finally received approval for Web Phase 2. And so since the board has approved it, we are about to kick that project off. And like I've told you guys for the last few years, everyone will be involved in this process, which is going to be a major upgrade to the county's website. And we're also going to have a few things that will be very handy for you. We're going to have an Active Directory integration, so our web admins will be able to log in with their county accounts. And one of the most significant improvements, I believe, is going to be our search engine, which has been kind of a pain point over the last 5 years. And so essentially, we've got a refresh of our design, new site search. We're going to have the Join Cobb Fire and Join Cobb Police websites will finally be able to be integrated in with a design similar to what they have now. And we're also going to be adding some third-party integration work. Basically, I don't want to steal IF's thunder, who is here today, but we have 5 years of data that they've collected on our website, and we're going to be using that data to make some significant improvements. So what I'd like to do is kind of turn things over to Eric with Interpersonal Frequency and let him introduce his team and go through a presentation for us. And they have also agreed to stick around for some Q&A. So if you guys have any questions at all about what we're going to be doing with the new website, please feel free to bring those up.
And Eric, I think I made you a presenter. Let me know if I need to make Jennifer a presenter.
Yeah, would you mind making Jennifer a presenter as well too? That would be very helpful. Thanks, Ross. And why don't I'll just start talking while we're working through the presentation ability. And Jennifer, you can just start sharing whenever you are able to. But I just wanted to start out by saying good morning and thank you so much for giving us a couple minutes to present this fun project. So thank you, Ross. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for all the hard work to get us to this point. As Mike said, it's been a multi-year project. It's been a fun project to get us to this point. And I think now we're at the next phase. As Mike mentioned earlier, we've been supporting your team for about 6 years. We talk about, when we started the build together. And, through that, I've had the chance to work directly with many of you. I see a lot of familiar faces, but for any of those that I haven't had the chance to meet yet, my name is Eric Burgess, and I'm the Chief Growth Officer for Interpersonal Frequency. And it's kind of a mouthful, so we call ourselves IF for short, in case you hear that. Just while we're pulling up our slides, I'll just give you a real quick history of our company. We've been building government websites.
Sorry, Eric, I was just going to say, I actually am having trouble with the share. It doesn't look like I have the right, it just went through. Okay, sorry, proceed. Sorry about that.
Sure, well, I'll keep going. So again, we've been building government websites, but when I say that, I mean only government websites. We don't have a government division of our massive company. This is all we do. We've been building government websites for over 15 years. And we currently support over 5% of the United States through our technology, and that's over 17 million people. So this is what we do. We're a fast-growing company. Cobb's been a great partner of ours since we built your current website that you're using currently. And I'll just do a real quick, kind of commercial announcement. But one of the main reasons people select us as a partner is that we focus on user success. And Mike made a comment about that easy-to-use search, some new features we're going to do, some more integrations. And what we do is we use our proprietary analytics and our 15 years of government experience, that's important, to make sure that the services and the information on your website is very easy for your users to use. And this group particularly, when I say users, I mean both the public users, the residents of Cobb County and the visitors, but we're also talking about your internal users as well. It's got to be easy for this team to use. That's absolutely critical. And that's an area that a lot of web developers don't think about, but we've spent as much time focusing on that interface that you're going to have shortly as we have on the outward presentation as well. So As Mike mentioned earlier, we're going to do a more formal kickoff soon. We're working on scheduling that, but this is meant to be just a high-level overview of what's to come and a chance to meet some of the core team that we brought with us today, supporting you on the project and beyond. So the goal today, again, is to just talk about high level, what's going to happen over the next few months, and probably, you know, what's also going to happen right in front of us. We're going to give you always going to give you a big picture macro view, as well as keeping you focused. So Jennifer, you go to the next slide. I'll just talk about our agenda briefly. We're going to introduce the core team, run you through our process at a very high level. Don't worry, this won't be long. And we're going to talk you through scope of work, again, at a high level. And then we're going to make sure you understand what's next for us to do. And then we've got, you know, some time for Q&A based on your availability as well, too. So that's what we're going to try to do here in just a couple of minutes. If you go to the next slide, please. This is your core team. And again, not the complete team, but these are some of the folks that you'll be working with on a daily basis. Again, I'm Eric Burgess. I'm the Chief Growth Officer. I'm also your account manager. With us today is Jennifer Eidchen. You'll hear from her next. She's going to be your project manager. On the phone with us today are two folks that hopefully you know and love. They've been working with you for a long time. We've got Shelly Dittman, who's our Director of Client Strategy. And we also have Emerson Gaziano, who's the Evolution and Support Portfolio Manager. Again, bigger team behind all this. We've got user experience specialists, designers, content specialists, architects, developers, and quality assurance. So that is us. Jennifer, I think from there, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk a little bit about what we're going to do for the next in your process. Over to you.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so again, I'm Jennifer Eidchen. I will be your project manager. I'm super excited about this initiative. And again, to reiterate what Eric said, we are just kind of looking at the high level of the scope. You will, on the formal kickoff, have a much more detailed scope, and then furthermore, a timeline that really breaks out all the granular tasks of this project. But to get into the high level scope, so there's a few things going on here. We have a full redesign and build of the main Cobb County website. And just amongst other goals, the new site will allow users to find what they need on the website easily and effectively. So with that kind of high level goal in mind, we will be redesigning the site to meet that. The other thing is the redesign and development of the sheriff site, which will be independent of the main site. And I understand that one of the needs will be to treat that separately from the main site, and that it'll have a new look and feel that will kind of match that new administration. So that will be sort of a secondary parallel project, if you will. And then as a third piece, which is an optional piece and will only be proceeding on with your approval to do so, would be the redesign and build of the intranet platform. So again, with this particular piece, no work will begin unless we have prior written approval from your team. One of the things that we want to do moving forward coming out of this is to just provide some times over to your team for project kickoff, like a more formal one where we'll really be getting into our full process, which is pretty robust, and also talking about getting weekly project meetings scheduled, and kind of discussing more the way we communicate and what all the different roles of our team are. So I will send that over to you following this, along with you guys have this recording now, so I don't have to. I actually did this thinking that I would be recording it on my end, but you have the recording from the presentation. I would just ask that coming out of this, you could confirm your availability so we can definitely get something on the books and have a more formal kickoff and start getting these deliverables going. So with that very high level review, I just wanted to see if you guys had any questions or things that we want to talk about regarding this new initiative.
We'll call this the amuse-bouche for the kickoff. We're giving you a little taste.
Yeah.
And realizing we went fast, I wanted to just give you a little who's who and what's what, and just a high level of what we're doing. But questions, comments, concerns, anything from the team that we can answer for you today?
I think a lot for this team would be, the question would be, they update their websites, they keep their information current. What does it mean for them? When are they going to have to get reschooled? And when will this all take place?
Sure. Well, why don't I, there's a couple questions in there. Why don't I take the first? I'll do kind of the high level, and if we need to drill down, I'll kick it over to you, Jennifer, or Shelly, or something like that. Is a high level. So yes, first of all, let's start out by saying you all have day jobs, right? you have to keep the existing website going and all the other great initiatives that Cobb County Communications does. We're very aware of that. And the reason I started there is our whole process is designed to support this county's good work. And what I mean by that is we realize that you don't have 40 hours a week to spend on this redesign. We're going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting ourselves. That being said, part of our job is to make sure that you're trained on the new website. You know, we need to understand, what do you have currently? What are your processes currently? And we know that because we've been supporting you for over 6 years. And we will use that information to make sure that we've got the workflows set up that will work very efficiently in the future. And one of the things we're most proud of as a company is that we spend an extensive time in training to make sure that everybody here will have the ability to interface with the new system and understand how to use it very clearly. The only other comment I'll just say that is probably going to be core for this team to work on is this is a good time. I'm going to use the Marie Kondo thought, you know, when you're moving, this is time to start, you know, maybe cleaning out some of the things that you don't use anymore. That's how we're going to treat your content. You've got a lot of content on your website currently, and this is a good time to maybe look at what doesn't need to be there anymore. It's a time, you know, think about it when you're moving. It's a good time to throw out some stuff that you just don't use and doesn't make you happy anymore. We're going to be focusing on that throughout the process to make sure that the content you have that the public can access is in great shape. As far as timing, Mike, I think we're looking for a kickoff, like a formal kickoff in August. Again, that hasn't, you know, been locked in place, but I believe that's when we're looking for.
Yes,
great.
yes, it is. And Eric, just to piggyback off what you just said, that for this team, it is important to really go back and take a deep dive into your content. For example, you know, there's probably things on there from 4 or 5 years ago that are actually no longer relevant and actually are contain incorrect information. And so we don't want our users stumbling across a page that is still on the site that contains outdated, incorrect information. So be a real good idea now to start going through some of those pages and looking for that older, out-of-date content.
Agree with everything you said, Mike. And one thing now we've got this slide on screen. If you notice on the far left under what we call discovery, we're going to be doing external, internal, and content research. That's you know, you may not even know all the content that's on your site. We're going to crawl it. We're going to give you a list of every piece of content that's on there. Yeah, Shannon, that's exactly right. And that was an example I was going to use. You know, COVID's a perfect example. Think about how everything was changing so fast, and you needed new guidance, new weekly guidance, new daily guidance. All of that is probably sitting on your website and is confusing. You know, that's a real clear example, but you know, there's many topics in your county that are going to be similar to that. So that was an excellent example. And if I can go back to where I started, apologies for my talking in a circle here a little bit. We're going to analyze your content. We're going to tell you what all content is on there. And that's going to be a good roadmap, as Mike said, to look through what maybe doesn't suit you, what doesn't serve you anymore. We can do a lot of analysis on that content itself. So
you know, and Eric, as part of this process, I think what I'd like to do is set up a Teams chat with all the folks here on this call, you know, all of our communications folks around the county, and maybe use Teams as a good place where we can all kind of stay in touch throughout the process. So if you guys think that's a good idea to use Teams, shoot me an email, let me know, because I thought maybe that would be a good place for us to corral all of our ideas and maybe go through different areas, because the process is going to be rather lengthy, and so I just want to throw that out there to you.
And Mike, how's this going to interface with the .gov transition, if at all?
Glad you asked, Ross. It is perfect timing to do the transition to .gov, because when the new website rolls out, it will coincide with the change to .gov, so we can actually brand this as a new Cobb County.gov site. And so I think that'll give us a little additional publicity around the relaunch of the site. And so part of that process, IF is going to be helping us maintain our directory structure so that cobbcounty.org/something links will continue to work with as cobbcounty.gov. So thank goodness that we've got that high level of support. At the same time, we're making a transition, a significant transition, like a domain name change.
And Ross, Mike, I think, we've done that many times, and I agree. That's an excellent time to roll out the new .gov. I'm so glad to hear that you're doing that. It does a whole bunch for search engine optimization, security, anti-spoofing. I'm so glad to hear that that's part of this.
Yes, and just having the Active Directory integration, because most of you in this room are admins on cobbcounty.org right now, and as you know, you have a separate account to log into the website. That will change with phase 2, because your login credentials for when you log into your computer in the morning, those are your login credentials for the website. And so that also gives us an added layer of security, because when an employee leaves, they will automatically be removed from the website because of that integration. So that will also give us a little better security as well.
All right, anybody else have any questions? Just either just shout out or raise your hand.
Do we have any idea when how long this whole process is going to take and when the new website's going to launch?
Eric said it's only going to take a couple of days, so
it's just refresh your browser. It's there. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's done. It's done already.
No,
Yeah, Jennifer's real good at this project management stuff.
I'm really good at it. Yeah.
Now I feel like any answer I give is going to be insufficient, but yeah, 12 months is a reasonable target for that. Full disclosure, we can go a lot faster than that. But as we talk about analyzing your content, as you're going to be looking at new designs, that pace is generally set by the client. But I would say 12 months should be a good thinking point for your schedule. We'll do a little more conscious, detailed schedule once we get the final kickoff. But that should give you 12 months is a good target.
And
I will say,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Oh, I was just going to say, as Eric was just saying, that we'll give that detailed schedule after the kickoff. We also use Basecamp for a lot of our communications, where I not only do you get the full schedule, but I don't expect everyone to stare at every little line of it. So I actually will walk you through everything that is needed, and I'm pretty good about putting out the due dates, but that's because I want us to track towards certain things to ensure we get to not just the 12 months, but hopefully even earlier if we can, because, as long as we're tracking to all these things, like Eric said, it's very possible we can get this done sooner. But I'll be walking you through, this slide here is the very high level of the major milestones of the project, but they all include a bunch of different things. So I'll be walking you through each of those. So
it would be safe to say that that the schedule could depend greatly on the amount of support and how well we do with the people that are in this call right now, because you guys are the ones that make all of this happen. So that launch time can really be accelerated if we get everybody on board.
Amen, Mike. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
I had a question.
I'll just say real quickly that when Mike sent me some test links and everything, I'm really excited about the responsiveness of Web 2.0, because those of us who update the website frequently know there's occasionally you hit save or hit a page and you can kind of crack open a drink and wait a few seconds till that pops up. But the tests that I looked at, you click and you're there. So that was exciting.
It's great. Great. Yeah. Technology's changed a lot since we built the last one, for sure. Yeah, but great. You're going to love it. We've spent a lot of time on that. We call it the admin interface, which is what you all interface with. I may have said this earlier in the intro, but basically we've spent as much time on the internal access as we have the external. When we say it's good for all users, we mean all users. This team is a user of the website. just generally on the back end versus the front end. So we felt that very, very important.
I had a quick question. Shannon with the library.
Oh,
Good to
hi.
see
Hey,
you.
good to see you too.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
When you talk about updating interfaces and stuff, are the looks of our public facing pages going to change? I just know we've spent a lot of time updating a lot of our pages within your template structure and doing, fancier things. Is that all going to change? Am I going to have to touch every page?
I'm going to say it as clearly as I can. Part of this is a new look and feel, and what that new look and feel is going to be up to the county. So I hope I've given you as much of an answer and perhaps a non-answer as I can there. The part of this is a new look and feel. And again, so yeah, I think the answer is yes, there'll be, migration of your content from the current site to the new site. But what that new look and feel is going to be up to Cobb County.
Cool.
And Shannon, one thing I want to point out is there are a few challenges we have right now with the current template. For example, on many of your pages, we're seeing now where over 60% of our users are now looking at our website on a mobile device. And, and that means a cell phone in portrait mode, which is a very, very small display. And our current template is putting menu items all the way down at the bottom of that, of that screen. So a lot of times that content doesn't surface quickly enough because our users are going to pull that up. And if they don't see it immediately, they may just swipe to the next page or move on or say they can't find it. So part of this is going to address that concern on mobile. So the changes that we make, I believe, if I'm reading everything correctly from our discussions, we are going to be more tweaking than completely blowing things up and going to a radical change. So. And as Eric said, we are going to be driving a lot of those decisions. So you and everyone else on this call is going to have a voice in what that looks like.
I had fun the first time. I'm going to have fun this time too.
There you go.
So glad to hear that. So glad to hear that. Thanks.
And it's really kind of like an organic process too. Like just going back to the screen, the chart here of like going through all our phases, like the discover and define sections of this project, it's going to be a lot about content and analyzing the needs of the site, what we need moving forward, what kind of site structure you need. It's really sort of addressing all the challenges you're currently experiencing. Once we get that down, everyone kind of gets to a place where they're like, okay, now I'm seeing the vision. Now I'm getting what we need to do. And that's when we start getting into the visual discussions. That's when design is kind of informed by what we found in discovery, how we've defined the information architecture of the site. It kind of all rolls in naturally from one stage to another. So right now it's kind of big, right? Like how much we have to do, but it is, and you will see a pretty organic process, and it's designed that way intentionally. So.
Yeah, it's fantastic. This compared to last time, this I think this process is going to be so much better because we had to spend several months originally just gathering data, where now IF has a good 5 years of data on our site, and so that data is all there to help make those kind of recommendations, because it clearly surfaces where people are having difficulty. I mean, our user success rate now is pretty high. I've been very pleased with our site performance, and so we're going to go from being good to great, I think, with this change.
Yeah, Cobb County ranks, as I mentioned earlier, we've got, or Mike said 5 years of data from your site. We also have 17 million data points on a daily basis from other counties. So when Mike is saying your site performs very well, that is in comparison to counties your size across the United States. So we have that data. We can show where you're beating benchmarks. And that's not enough. There's always more room to improve, right? And I'm sure, especially given the awards you guys just won recently, let's make sure that we continue to invest in that website and invest in that digital presence, because you've done so well in the past. Let's just keep moving on that. And as Shannon said, I like what you said. Let's have some fun with this one too, and we're looking forward.
Yes.
So, Jen, over in water, this whole rebranding effort that is probably going to take longer than this project, are we not going to worry about that? Because a lot of the documents and stuff that are on the website would be needing to be aligned to whatever that turns into.
I would just say that given the current state of the budget and the reception from the board about the proposal for rebranding, that we should not wait on them and just plow on forward. I have minimal confidence that we'll be able to pull anything off in this time frame.
Other questions? This has been great. This has been really great. And again, we'll do a more formal one later, but yes, please.
This is Rick from the Solicitor General's office.
Hi, Rick.
I don't know, Ross, Shelley, or anyone, is there a plan to communicate the revamp of the website to the general public? Is there any sort of messaging that departments like myself can use, or to follow you, or a date, just to let them know what's going on?
Yeah, we'll definitely do it, but we're so far out right now, we didn't want to. And it's the timeline's so kind of nebulous still about when the public will actually see something. We're just gonna narrow that down, and when we get close to that point, we'll let the board know first of all, and maybe let them take the lead in putting it in their newsletters, and then go whole hog with the rest of the stuff after that.
Okay, no, that's great. That answers my question. I appreciate it.
And Ross and Rick, just to chime in, when we're getting closer to launch, I agree with everything you said, by the way, Ross, 100%. And when we get closer to launch, we've got some suggested guidance. And again, you're free to use it or not. Just as you're not our first county we've launched with a new website, and we've got a kind of a trove of some suggested process to let that out. Again, you're welcome to take any of that as guidance or advice, or you're welcome to throw it all out if you've got it covered. But we have that as part of our launch. Getting ready for launch, we'll share some best practices in our mind of how to inform the public and some steps in that.
Hey, I was curious if anyone from SO is on the call.
Glenn he may have.
Yes, I am here.
Awesome. As part of this, the sheriff's office is a major component to phase 2. And so there's going to be some interviews between your leadership and IF. So I just wanted to remind you that we do have those coming up. So if you want to discuss that with your leadership team, as far as who they would like to be working with IF to communicate the sheriff's office vision for their section of this project, now would be a great time to line that up. And also just want to call you out specifically, if you have any questions while we have IF here on the call.
No, everything seems pretty clear for us. Since we're going to be a little bit separate, I guess my only real concern would be the consistency, or from our website to this new look and new feel. I guess what is there for us to expect as far as the users' ability, basically just coming from what they're used to this now. But for us, no, I don't really have any questions.
Well, that's actually a fantastic question, because we couldn't be in better hands than we are with IF when it comes to doing this and giving you your unique branding, while at the same time being consistent with with the basic UI. So that, that's something that we'll be discussing as we move forward. Eric, I know you may have some comments on that as well.
Yeah, I'm just sitting back listening to you and Ross basically answer for me, which is great. I couldn't agree with you more. But the only thing I would add to that, Glenn, is law enforcement's a major part of our business. We support a lot of sheriffs, a lot of police departments across the country. Very, very critical. We understand both. It should be similar to the county, but slightly different as well. And, and navigating that, how much do you want to be very clear that you're still on a Cobb County website, and how much do you want to have a different look and feel is something we're going to navigate together. And I don't have the right answer for you. I don't have all the answers, but this is why we interview. This is why we work with you. We understand what's working and what's not, so that we can come up with the best complementary design. Again, it's kind of jarring if it goes completely off and you can't tell, is it really Cobb County Sheriff or am I in a different place? But, obviously we want a different look and feel as well too. So you're noticing I'm kind of talking around in a circle with you, but this is part of the process and this is what we do. And I think we've done it very successfully across the country. So yes, you're in good hands.
All right.
Great. Thanks, Glenn. Other questions? We could stay on all day. This is how we love doing this.
All right, anybody else? Just twice.
Yeah, and Shannon's right on.
Okay. Well, Eric, thanks. Mike, thanks. Anything else, Mike, before we go to the good of the group stuff?
No, sir. I just wanted to thank everybody for listening and what have you. And again, we'll open up a Teams chat, and I want to make sure that I'm able to get everybody's questions and concerns and what have you, and we'll be moving forward together. And let's see if we can't get this thing launched in a very timely fashion, so we can move forward with .gov and all the other great things that are coming down the pipe.
Mike, Jen just fired one off in the chat for you about chat.
Oh, yes. Briefly, this also does kind of include IF, and that is we are testing the Salesforce-based chat client, and we've been working with their team to get the Salesforce script installed on our website. And thank you, Eric, for you and your team helping with that. But we're looking to integrate the Salesforce chat client with our website. And that opens up so many new areas because, as you know, the Salesforce CRM will slowly become a true county-wide CRM. And that's going to give us the ability to, when someone interacts with us via chat, we'll have some basic information on that individual, hopefully, so that as they navigate across departments doing business with us in various areas, we'll have a little bit of information about them. And one of the things that we wanted to do specifically with water was at some point in the future to have that chat client have some basic information about that customer, so that water's chat agents wouldn't have to go to a separate system to find, for example, that customer's account number or things like that. So I'm real excited about that, and I'm hoping that chat becomes more widely used once we have this system in place. I do understand the challenges, though, because at least initially, that's going to require departments to have a live chat agent available. And that is quite a commitment, from you guys to have somebody that's available to take those chats as they come in. So that's one of the things to be determined. But specifically for water, I think that one will move forward sooner rather than later. I know I'll be getting with Kathy soon on that. So does that answer your question, Jim?
Yeah, thank you.
All righty.
We're anxious to get it back.
Yes. And Ross, I think there's something on MSPLOST.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're ready to whip it around. It's already been 40 minutes, so if we can do around the horn and appreciate, everything that you've let us know about, because it's going to be a big lift, but hopefully one we can handle over that period of time. So hey, Andrew, since you asked about it, do you want to start about MSPLOST? I missed the last couple of meetings. I know Shelley was there. Either one of you two can kind of update us where we are in MSPLOST.
Well, we're right now getting ready to kick off all about what's going on with MSPLOST. We've worked with Kimley Horn to do some external branding, so we're going to try to get all of our materials looking the same and similar with that. We're getting ready to start doing open houses. So there's a lot of movement. So it's going to be really busy for all of us involved with MSPLOST probably through November.
And one of the big challenges too, and you can chime in on this, has just been working with legal to make sure that our messaging is appropriate for the legal constraints we have. Like, we can't advocate, we can educate. Well, where does that line exist? And it seems like, looking at other counties, it moves. But we've had our legal department, right, Andrew, chime in on a lot of our stuff.
Yeah, we're working with Drew, as well as Morgan, as well as the people from Kimley Horn, as well as some other external advisors, to make sure that our messaging is completely informative yet not advocating. So they're already workshopping a lot of what we can say versus what we can't versus what we shouldn't. So they should be putting the final touches on that either Friday or Monday morning.
Yeah, I was looking at what Gwinnett's putting out, and I was just thinking to myself, I don't think our attorneys would allow us to say a lot of that stuff, but I get, like I said, jurisdictional. Shelley, was there anything else on MSPLOST?
No, I just, they're hoping to launch everything, I think, by the end of this month, hopefully, if everything can get approved. So we will have like the messaging, all of that stuff that we can share with everybody to help educate the public.
Yeah, I think we're going to have the first draft of that page ready today or tomorrow, Shelley.
Awesome.
It's actually going to be like I believe 3 or 4 page, like a little micro site.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll have a chance to look at that today or tomorrow.
Cool.
Hey, Kristen, did you have something you wanted to update us?
I have a lot of stuff. I'm
Oh.
everybody's performance management system favorite person. 8/5 starts performance management, the second progress discussion. Employees, and their deadline to get it done is August 18th. And then the supervisor manager is September 8th deadline. So keep that in mind. Employee Appreciation Day, yay! Woo! We've got that going. We launched it on Monday, so employees can register. Not getting a whole lot of questions, but some of the questions I've received are being able to use the tickets for fair only and the day of the events, and that is a no-no. So registration deadline is August 26th, and that is a hard deadline. People cannot make changes to their submission forms. So once they submit it, that's it. So keep that in mind as well. The First Responder 5K, this is a Cobb County Wellness Initiative. So if you or any of your employees want to participate, it's actually on the homepage today, all the information to go ahead and register for that. It is free and it supports our first responders here in Cobb County. And then for those of you who are old school like me, we used to have a customer service council, and now that COVID's over and we just thought it would kind of ran its course, we're relaunching it as props, and we'll be doing that in October. So keep an eye out on that. We're excited to be able to get out and do the surprise visit. Those were always fun. For those of you that don't know, it was a customer service program, and the county was put into different groups, and then each group would submit 2 nominations of people who are going above and beyond for customer service. This time we're going to incorporate the core values into that. So we're working on setting all that up now. The launch will be in October, so it's going to run for fiscal year and not for a calendar year. Annual enrollment is coming up. We'll be announcing that soon. It's going to be September 16th through the 27th of this year. And that's all I've got. Hey, Ross, flyers for the fair, are we going to have those going out soon?
Drew, I think's on here somewhere. He's working diligently on it, and it should be hopefully done soon. So yeah.
Okay, fantastic. I'm sure the department reps will start asking for those soon.
Yeah, the county manager, she's very excited about it this year and really wants to get it out. So we'll do that.
Yeah, and I believe Shannon, you were one of the mascots in the video. She did a great job. Who were you? You were Rita.
Yes, I was Rita Buck, the library dog, and definitely my first and last time as a mascot.
We did it early in the morning before it got hot, but it still got hot. So
yeah, it was toasty.
Yeah. Hey, and I just want to take a second out to thank the members of my staff who worked on the budget and brief for this year's budget thing. Turned out really nice. A lot of good information in there. Even some who were opposed to the budget and millage complimented the information in here, even though they didn't agree with it. But yeah, it turned out good. Hopefully we can continue doing more stuff like this in the future because every little bit helps. So that turned out good. All right, anybody else before we go off? I think we're good. It's 3 times. Thanks for joining. Michelle will give you an update on our next meeting.
Yep.
And I will put this recording out. We had a lot of people out on annual leave today, so I'll pop this recording somewhere where they can see it about, especially about the IF stuff. So the website. So good stuff. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Bye.
Share your stuff with us.
Bye.
Thank
you.
Bye.